When we think of sex scandals in history, the mind usually gravitates toward a handful of famous episodes. Henry VIII's series of wives, Cleopatra's relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, or more modern controversies like the Profumo affair or President Bill Clinton's impeachment. Yet across the centuries, societies from ancient Rome to Enlightenment-era Europe have been rocked by less remembered sexual intrigues and moral uproars, some overshadowed by grander political sagas, others buried by subsequent events or the victors who wrote official histories. In this article, we explore 10 shocking and relatively forgotten historical sex scandals, each replete with intrigue, rumor, and broader cultural impacts. A few names, like Catherine the Great or Pope Alexander VI, may ring a bell, but we'll delve into sides of their stories that are often overlooked or heavily mythologized. Others, like Tiberius of Rome or Queen Maria Carolina of Naples, rarely headline mainstream history books for their sexual exploits, yet they once transfixed or horrified contemporary audiences. As we proceed, remember these episodes are snapshots of times and places with different moral codes, power structures, and cultural attitudes towards sexuality. Though shocking in context, they each illuminate the shifting boundaries between private desire and public condemnation, reminding us that what scandalizes one era can fade into obscurity in another, or remain so taboo that it's seldom spoken of openly. Let's begin our tour of these 10 enthralling and unsettling scandals spanning 2 millennia of human history. Scandal number 1, Tiberius on Capri. Era, early 1st century CE, Roman Empire. Key figures: Emperor Tiberius, Roman senators, Suetonius. Following the death of Augustus, Emperor Tiberius became Rome's second emperor. Known for his reclusive nature, Tiberius governed somewhat uneasily, especially toward the latter part of his reign. Tiberius eventually retreated from the city of Rome to the island of Capri, a place of scenic cliffs and luxurious villas that offered a measure of isolation from the capital's politics. Allegations of debauchery. Ancient sources, particularly the historian Suetonius, describe Tiberius's alleged sexual excesses on Capri in lurid detail. These accounts portray Tiberius as a ruler who, late in life, indulged in daily orgies, bizarre rituals, and acts of predation involving both adult partners and minors. While modern historians question the reliability of these sensational accusations, since Suetonius wrote decades after Tiberius's death, and political enemies might have spread rumors to tarnish his image, the stories about Tiberius's fishermen, who reputedly jumped into the sea to catch unsuspecting lovers, or about infantile amusements, remain among the most shocking depictions of a Roman emperor's private depravity. Historical debate. Potential muckraking. Many scholars suspect Tiberius's political enemies and later the Julio-Claudian historians had incentive to demonize him, using sex scandals as a potent way to undermine legitimacy. Partial truth. Tiberius indeed displayed reclusive and paranoid behavior in his final years, including a series of treason trials in Rome. His retreat to Capri suggests an avoidance of the Senate and the city's demands. Legacy. Whether fully factual or embroidered, the Capri scandal stands as an early example of a leader's rumored sexual deviance overshadowing his governance. Tiberius's name became a byword for moral degeneracy among the Roman elite, and his alleged misdeeds colored the Julio-Claudian image for generations. Though overshadowed by the more infamous perversities of Caligula or Nero in popular culture, Tiberius's rumored life on Capri sets the stage for understanding how sex, power, and scandal converged in the Roman imagination. The truth may never be fully unraveled, but Tiberius's Purple Island stands as a prime example of how historical rumor and partial documentation can produce a deeply entrenched scandal narrative. Scandal number 2, Pope Alexander VI, Rodrigo Borgia, and the Papal Court. Era, late 15th century, early 16th century, Papal States. Key figures: Rodrigo Borgia, Pope Alexander VI, R. 1419-03, Cesare Borgia, Lucrezia Borgia. Born into the influential Borgia family of Spain, Rodrigo Borgia ascended the papacy as Alexander VI. The Renaissance period saw the papacy entangled in political machinations, nepotism, and often open corruption. Yet the Borgias, particularly Alexander VI, became synonymous with charges of immorality and incest, though how many of these were real versus manufactured remains debated. Sexual rumors and celebrated banquets. Illicit relationships. Alexander VI openly acknowledged fathering multiple children. Caesare, Lucrezia, Giovanni, and others, before and possibly during his pontificate, an open contradiction to clerical celibacy rules. Nepotism and indulgence. Historical accounts describe lavish feasts in the Vatican, replete with dancing courtesans and rumored sexual contests. One infamous event, sometimes called the Banquet of Chestnuts, 1501, allegedly involved courtesans crawling on the floor to pick up chestnuts, and more scandalous acts, though the reliability of these details is disputed. Accusations of incest. The Borgias' close ties among siblings, especially Lucrezia's rumored involvement with both her brother Cesare and father Alexander, stoked frenzied gossip. Modern historians generally regard these incest allegations as probable slander from political rivals, but cannot entirely dismiss them. Political fallout. Alexander VI used the papal office to secure territorial gains for Cesare, forging alliances through strategic marriages. Contemporary moralists and rival families fanned rumors of the Borgias' sexual immorality to discredit them. Alexander's death in 1503 ended the immediate scandal, but the Borgia name remained a watchword for unscrupulous familial ambition and sexual corruption in the church. Forgotten aspects. Less focused on religion. While many popes of the era had mistresses or fathered children, Alexander VI stands out for the sheer volume of accusations, along with the timing of the Reformation's early rumblings. Lingering stereotypes. In modern times, TV shows and novels have further sensationalized Borgia intrigues. It can be difficult to separate fact from anti-Spanish, anti-Borgia propaganda. Nonetheless, the papal bedroom scandal remains one of history's starkest examples of religious office overshadowed by personal vice. Scandal number 3. Christina of Sweden's rumored love affairs. Era, mid-17th century, Kingdom of Sweden, and later European courts. Key figure, Queen Christina of Sweden, who reigned from 1632 to 1654. Christina of Sweden grew up in a context of war, the 30 Years' War, and Lutheran Orthodoxy. Crowned queen at the age of 6 upon her father Gustavus Adolphus's death, she governed from around 1644 until her unexpected abdication in 1654. Known for her keen intellect, love of philosophy, and rebellious spirit, Christina courted controversy not only by converting to Catholicism, but also by challenging gender norms of the day. Christina's intimate relationships with several women, notably her lady-in-waiting Ebba Spar, whom Christina called Belle, sparked rumors of homosexual or romantic friendship ties. Letters exchanged between them show strong affection, though explicit details remain inconclusive. Christina often wore men's clothing and ignored the customary feminine roles expected of a queen. This gender-bending fascinated and disturbed many European courts, who spread rumors about her sexual preferences and possibly ambiguous anatomy. Despite numerous suitors from European nobility, Christina adamantly refused to wed, fueling speculation that she had no interest in men or was physically unable or unwilling to bear children. When Christina abdicated, she moved to Rome, converting to Catholicism. Rumors continued swirling. Some claimed she was involved in covert affairs with cardinals or high-ranking prelates. Modern scholarship suggests these claims are largely unsubstantiated, but they reflect the period's eagerness to interpret an unconventional woman's private life in scandalous terms. Christina's rumored love affairs, combined with her conversion and cross-dressing, made her a sensational figure. Forgotten in many mainstream accounts, these rumors highlight the confusion and moral panic that a powerful, unconventional woman could trigger in a male-dominated society. Today, she's viewed as a forerunner of women's independence in leadership roles, tempered by the myriad sexual rumors that followed her until death. Scandal number 4. King Edward VII's salacious circles. Era, late 19th to early 20th century, United Kingdom. Key figure, Albert Edward, Prince of Wales, later King Edward VII, R. 1901 to 1910. The eldest son of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, the future Edward VII was known from youth for his hedonistic pursuits. Nicknamed Bertie, he spent decades as the Prince of Wales before ascending the throne at age 59 upon Victoria's death. During his extended wait, Edward indulged in a lavish social life, frequenting aristocratic circles, French chateaux, and the notorious nightlife of Paris. Extramarital affairs. Edward is rumored to have had multiple mistresses, including the society beauty Alice Keppel, widely viewed as the prince's official favorite. Another alleged partner was the actress Lily Langtry, causing sensational coverage in the press of the day. A persistent rumor claims Edward had a custom love seat or sex chair designed for his corpulent physique so he could more comfortably enjoy liaisons in Parisian brothels. Though never definitively proven, the tale circulated widely, symbolizing Edward's indulgent lifestyle. Victoria reportedly disapproved of her son's frivolity and moral laxity, blaming him for hastening Prince Albert's death by shock or heartbreak. This tension contributed to Edward's rebellious, pleasure-driven persona. Edward's brazen amusements and the press's coverage of them reshaped how the public perceived monarchy. Rather than the moral severity of Victoria, Edward's circle was flamboyant, shaping what became known as the Edwardian era after his coronation. This short period was marked by extravagant parties, luxurious fashions, and a loosened social climate before World War I's austerities. While Edward VII is not entirely forgotten, mainstream British royal history frequently glosses over just how scandalous his private life was before his accession. The playboy prince persona may seem tame by modern standards, but in the late Victorian context, it was downright shocking, enough so that newspapers of the time had to tread carefully, mixing rumor with hush-hush confirmations to avoid open confrontation with the crown. Scandal number 5, the affair of the poisons in Louis XIV's court. Era, late 17th century, France under Louis XIV. Key figures: Louis XIV, Madame de Montespan, La Voisin, various aristocrats. Under the glittering reign of King Louis XIV, the court at Versailles was the pinnacle of European sophistication. Yet behind the ornate facade, an underworld of black magic, poisoners, and alleged dark rituals thrived, culminating in the so-called Affair of the Poisons, 1679 to 1682. While primarily an event involving murder plots and the sale of poisons among French nobility, the scandal included sexual rites that implicated members of the king's inner circle. Madame de Montespan, the king's chief mistress for many years, Montespan was rumored to have used love potions or engaged in black masses to maintain Louis XIV's favor. Though never formally charged, her name surfaced repeatedly in testimonies of fortune-tellers and accused poisoners like Catherine Monvoisin, known as La Voisin. Witnesses claimed that aristocrats partook in ceremonies involving infant sacrifice and sexual perversions to call upon demonic assistance, allegations that remain heavily disputed. However, the sensational rumor that Montespan herself was involved stoked the public imagination. Alarmed by the possibility of high-level conspiracies, Louis XIV established a special court, the Chambre Ardente, which operated under secrecy. Scores of individuals were arrested, many executed or exiled. Though some historians suspect that much of the scandal was fueled by hysteria and opportunistic confessions, the affair of the poisons ended the careers of many courtiers. Montespan's position at court eroded, and the mania tarnished the Sun King's golden aura. In effect, the scandal revealed how deeply sexuality, magical beliefs, and power struggles could intertwine in the most illustrious palaces of Europe. Modern retellings often reduce the affair of the poisons to a lurid footnote, overshadowed by the building of Versailles and Louis XIV's political feats. Yet for contemporaries, the idea that the king's bedroom might be shaped by black magic was horrifying, and a sign that no rank could escape scandal if the rumor mill spun relentlessly enough. Scandal number 6, Lola Montez and King Ludwig IV of Bavaria. Era, mid-19th century, Kingdom of Bavaria. Key figures: Lola Montez, 1808 to 1861. King Ludwig I reigned 1825 to 1848. Lola Montez, born Eliza Gilbert in Ireland, reinvented herself as a Spanish dancer and courtesan, mesmerizing men throughout Europe with her flamboyant persona. Meanwhile, King Ludwig I of Bavaria was an erudite patron of the arts, known for his Philhellenism and architectural projects. When Lola arrived in Munich around 1846, her bold manner and rumored exotic dance routines quickly captured Ludwig's attention. The scandal royal favor. Ludwig I granted Lola Montez the title Countess of Landsfeld, showering her with money, influence, and aristocratic status, despite the outcry from Bavarian nobility. Political turmoil. Her meddling in government affairs and Ludwig's infatuation with her triggered widespread protest. Students and reform-minded citizens saw Montez as an embodiment of scandalous foreign manipulation, while conservatives viewed her as a threat to the moral fabric of Bavaria. Riots and abdication, public unrest fed by rumors of Lola's sexual power over the aging king, eventually led to upheavals in 1848. Ludwig I was forced to abdicate in favor of his son, Maximilian II, partly due to the scandal swirling around Lola Montez. Downfall and global wanderings. Expelled from Bavaria, Montez continued her itinerant career as a dancer and lecturer, traversing Europe, the United States, and Australia. She died in 1861 in New York, her legacy that of a daring adventuress who toppled a king's reign. Ludwig I, in contrast, lived in relative obscurity afterward, overshadowed by the Lola affair, and overshadowed further by his grandson, Ludwig II, the fairy tale king. Forgotten angles. While somewhat known for the 19th century wave of scandalous dancers, Lola Montez's role in the downfall of a monarch is rarely taught in mainstream history curriculums. Her story underscores how a single liaison, when combined with social unrest, could ignite popular fury, leading to a dramatic shift in power within a previously stable monarchy. The notion that a dancer's bedroom influence could spark political revolt exemplifies how entangled sex and governance could become. Scandal number 7, Catherine the Great, myths versus reality. Era, late 18th century Russian Empire. Key figure, Empress Catherine II, reigned 1762 to 1796. Empress Catherine II oversaw a golden age in Russia, expanding territory, reforming administration, and embracing Enlightenment ideals. Yet over the centuries, she's been saddled with lewd rumors about her sexual appetites. While Catherine indeed took several lovers, many accounts soared into salacious fantasies, particularly the infamous myth that she died attempting sex with a horse, a grotesque story widely debunked by historians. After overthrowing her husband, Peter III, Catherine sought companionship among her favorites, such as Grigory Orlov and Grigory Potemkin. These relationships were often overshadowed by rumors that she paid them lavish sums for loyalty and discreet service. Catherine's lovers sometimes aided her governance. Potemkin, for instance, was a trusted advisor and helped shape Russia's expansion into the Black Sea region. The horse myth was likely created by Catherine's political enemies or xenophobic critics in Europe after her death. This rumor has no factual basis, but persists in popular imagination as an example of misogynistic smear against a powerful female ruler. Modern scholarship notes that Catherine's sexual life wasn't particularly extraordinary by the standards of royal courts. Her genuine scandal, in the eyes of many contemporaries, lay in her cunning political maneuvers and bold foreign policies. The salacious horse rumor was likely a posthumous invention to degrade her legacy and overshadow her administrative successes. While Catherine's expansions of the Russian Empire and patronage of the arts are well documented, the sensational rumors about her bedroom overshadow these achievements in popular culture. The Empress's real scandal is more about how a woman ruler in the 18th century could be so vilified that outlandish sexual claims overshadowed her robust political contributions. Scandal number 8, the Countess of Castiglione and Napoleon III. Era, mid-19th century, Second French Empire. Key figures, Virginia Oldoini, Countess of Castiglione, 1837 to 1899, Emperor Napoleon III. Virginia Oldoini, known as the Countess of Castiglione, was an Italian aristocrat celebrated for her striking beauty and flamboyance. At the behest of the Piedmontese Prime Minister, Count Cavour, she entered the court of Emperor Napoleon III of France with a mission to promote Italian unification. Swiftly, rumors spread that she became the emperor's mistress, leveraging her charm to influence Franco-Italian politics. The Countess allegedly used her closeness to Napoleon III to glean insights beneficial to the cause of the Kingdom of Sardinia. Historians debate whether she served as a genuine political agent or simply enjoyed the privileges of a powerful lover. The Countess was a pioneer of early photography, commissioning hundreds of portraits capturing her in theatrical, sometimes risque poses. Such self-celebration was unusual for a woman of her rank and fueled gossip in Parisian salons. The emperor's attention eventually waned. Her flamboyant presence at court, combined with swirling rumors that she was a manipulative seductress, led to her eventual marginalization. While overshadowed by larger events of the Second Empire, the affair between Napoleon III and the Countess of Castiglione briefly captured the public imagination. She retreated into reclusive eccentricity, rumored to have roamed the streets of Paris at night to avoid showing her aging face. The once sparkling figure who had scandalized and seduced her way into imperial bedrooms passed away in 1899, leaving behind a tantalizing photographic legacy that hints at her self-stylized persona. Scandal number 9. Queen Maria Carolina and the Neapolitan rumors. Era: late 18th, early 19th century, Kingdom of Naples. Key figures: Maria Carolina of Austria, King Ferdinand IV of Naples, Lady Hamilton, Admiral Nelson. Maria Carolina, daughter of Empress Maria Theresa of Austria, became Queen of Naples and Sicily by marrying King Ferdinand IV. She is often overshadowed by her sister, Marie Antoinette of France, but in her own realm, Maria Carolina wielded strong political influence. A fierce opponent of the French Revolution, she aligned with Great Britain to secure her throne. Naples was a hotbed of diplomatic intrigue, and Maria Carolina reportedly carried on affairs with foreign envoys or ministers. Slanderers claimed the Queen's bedroom hosted secret liaisons with influential figures whom she needed for political alliances. Emma, Lady Hamilton, became close to both the Queen and Admiral Horatio Nelson. The swirling rumors of a ménage à trois among Emma, Nelson, and Maria Carolina remain largely speculative. At the time, the Neapolitan court was abuzz. As Napoleon's forces threatened the kingdom, Maria Carolina's behavior became more erratic. Some allege that her fear of losing the throne led her to use sexual favors or orchestrate extramarital negotiations to secure British military support. The eventual defeat of Naples by French forces in the early 19th century overshadowed these personal rumors. Maria Carolina fled, dying in exile. While overshadowed by her sister Marie Antoinette's more famous downfall, the Neapolitan queen's alleged sexual intrigues highlight how personal relationships were intimately entwined with alliances in a Europe convulsed by revolution and war. Scandal number 10. Rasputin's mystique in the Romanov court. Era: early 20th century, late Imperial Russia. Key figures: Grigory Rasputin, Tsar Nicholas II, Tsarina Alexandra. No figure looms larger in final Romanov-era scandal lore than Grigory Rasputin, the Siberian mystic who exerted a mesmerizing influence on Tsar Nicholas II and his wife Alexandra. Rasputin's questionable healing powers over the hemophiliac heir, Tsarevich Alexei, gained him an exalted place at court, sparking rumors that he not only controlled political appointments but indulged in sexual excesses with aristocratic ladies, and perhaps even the Tsarina herself. Holy man with a libido, Rasputin styled himself a starets, preaching sin as a path to repentance. Some accounts detail orgiastic gatherings where Rasputin allegedly seduced female followers under the guise of spiritual release. While many historians doubt Alexandra had a physical affair with Rasputin, rumors soared that he had seduced the empress. Political cartoons and gossip spread across Russia, painting him as a manipulative deviant. The real scandal lay in Rasputin's perceived sway over ministerial appointments and war policy during World War I. Noble families saw him as an existential threat, culminating in his dramatic assassination in 1916. Rasputin's murder, poisoned, shot, and drowned by aristocratic conspirators, did little to quell public suspicion that he had irreparably tarnished the monarchy's prestige. Less than a year later, the Russian Revolution dethroned Nicholas II. The question of whether Rasputin truly engaged in the sexual misconduct alleged remains partly a matter of rumor, but he stands as a symbol of unbridled mysticism and moral panic enveloping a crumbling dynasty. Sex scandals across history serve as more than titillating anecdotes. They spotlight shifting moral codes, the vulnerabilities of powerful figures, and the readiness of societies to weaponize sexual rumor against foes. In each of these 10 examples, the scandal's resonance outlived the immediate protagonists, shaping reputations and sometimes toppling regimes or accelerating broader social transformations. Whether Tiberius truly indulged in monstrous acts on Capri or Catherine the Great truly revolutionized Russia's diplomatic might through alleged bedroom alliances, the intersection of sexuality, rumor, and power reverberated well beyond palace walls. Often, we see how enemies or moral guardians magnified or invented lurid details to undermine political legitimacy. In other cases, personal appetites undeniably molded governance, fueling revolts or controversies that rearranged entire societies. Yet these stories also remind us that behind the golden veneer of monarchy, papal authority, or aristocratic glamour lurked very human impulses, and that history, shaped by ephemeral rumor and partial evidence, frequently turned private passion into public cataclysm. What remains forgotten is not necessarily minor or unimportant, but rather overshadowed by mainstream narratives. By revisiting these lesser-known or overshadowed scandals, we enrich our understanding of how intimately entwined sex and power have been across centuries and continents. References and suggested reading. These sources illuminate the complexities behind these sex scandals, highlighting that the line between reality and propaganda is frequently blurred. Readers are encouraged to delve deeper, bearing in mind that many original accounts were shaped by partisan motives or sensational rumor, leaving us with a compelling if shadowy record of sexual intrigue in the corridors of power.